So, are you a junior?
I am. I'm
Cool.
a junior.
Did y'all meet freshman year?
We did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We
We're
did.
we're from the same town.
Really?
We have a lot of like similar connections. Like we're
Yeah.
to the same gym, have a lot
Yeah.
of similar buddies.
Yeah.
Never met
If
them
I
until
say
freshman
somehow we never met each other.
That's wild.
Yeah.
year. It's pretty
That's
crazy.
wild. So, are you studying finance?
I am
or
a management major.
management. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So that's probably why we haven't had any overlap. That makes
Yeah.
sense. And Luke, I know this is your second business endeavor, right?
I mean,
Count the podcast.
I guess I've had a bunch of random side hustles I've done all through high school.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first like legit one that I would say has been legal.
Mhm.
You know,
Legal.
The IRS,
You pay
knows-
taxes.
Yeah, the IRS knows about this one, but I would say I've always been doing something small.
Yeah.
Whether it be I've started the podcast before,
Right.
and then I've done car detailing, flip stuff online, the basics.
Right.
What about you?
This has been my first really big entrepreneurship journey.
Cool.
It's been really cool. Like high school, I was always the type of like, oh, I'm just go work at fast food. I'll go work here and whatever, right? But this has been my first really big entrepreneurship journey.
That's
It's
awesome.
been really cool.
I love
Y'all are
it.
from Birmingham?
We're from Franklin, Tennessee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so about 2.5 hours north of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes, I'd guess, from Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah.
30 minutes south of Nashville.
On a good day.
On a good day.
On a good
Exactly.
Well, what brought y'all here?
I mean,
Sanford?
Yeah,
Sanford.
Sanford. We
Yeah.
both love the school. It's,
Oh, okay.
I had some family friends that went here, and they were like, "Take a tour." And originally, I was like, "I'm gonna go to UT." I'm like, "That's where I'm gonna go."
Yeah,
I'm a big
yeah.
UT guy.
Yeah, of course.
And then I took a tour. I want to say my sophomore year. I loved it.
Yeah.
I knew it was the first place. So
So
Yeah.
I definitely want to get into it because I think y'all's business is kind of cool. I don't
yeah.
really know much about it,
Yeah.
but Dylan
Yeah.
had mentioned it.
No, I mean, there's so much that we're excited to dig into.
Yeah.
Because what y'all do is very interesting in the marketplace, the competition, and then your kind of like aspects that make y'all, individuals in this market. So I'm excited to dig into this. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
This is
Thank
gonna
you
be a
for
fun
having us.
conversation. So what's up, guys? Welcome back
Good.
to the next season of What's Next Birmingham. We've got two exciting guests sitting with us. And Luke, we met in finance,
We did.
our class,
we did.
and you told me about this business that you've got going on, and you're also involved in the incubator. So I want to kind of like start at the very beginning. So we understand how kind of like you got into business, tell me about getting into the incubator and also the process of starting the business.
Yeah. So I would say the process of starting the business was a little bit straightforward. I'd say it was what, February or March?
Yeah.
End
Yeah.
of our freshman year, and we were like, we kind of need something to do over the summer, and it was originally us and two other partners. It was a 4-person ownership business.
Okay.
And so we were like, I don't really want to go back and go work at a restaurant or do my usual stuff I did in high school.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about like, how can we start our own thing, make our own money? And then we started listing out ideas of like, different money making ideas of what we could do. And we landed on pressure washing because, everyone's done that at least once.
Yeah.
And so we started that, and then we did that all through the summer, learned a lot, failed a lot, retried a lot. You know how it goes. It's got a lot of experience with that. And then we started snowballing into different adventures where we did window washing, and we switched out of to pressure washing. We tried different marketing like strategies that would work more for us. Hired some people, fired some people, a lot of different changes through that.
Yeah.
And then about when we applied, was it
Last year.
it was last year,
Middle
like,
of last
was
year.
it December? Was it like second semester?
I think it was like March.
Yeah,
I think
maybe you're
March
right,
or April.
March.
Yeah.
And then so I knew about the incubator program.
Y'all are
coming as
seniors now.
Juniors.
Juniors. Oh,
Juniors.
wow. So this is like a 2-year thing
Mhm.
as of now.
Yes.
Okay.
So I knew about the incubator program coming in because I was, I told you, business minded. I wanted
Yeah.
to know what was out there,
Yeah.
but I didn't have anything at the time to do it. And then, junior or sophomore year came, we're like, might as well try it. Applications came out. We met with Professor Maisie, who's the head of it. Had a really cool conversation with him. We were one of the first partnerships in the business that had an established business that wasn't an idea. So we were excited to apply, send in our video, all that.
Yeah.
Got accepted. It's been a cool process so far.
Yeah. So, coming on the idea of variety washing, what were some of those other options like initially?
Trying to think. Do you remember something? They were like,
I remember one of the funnier ones was we thought about getting rental blow up houses.
yeah.
and starting a rental of bouncy
Like,
house.
bouncy
rental.
house,
Bouncy
yeah.
house
And like
rental,
water
yeah.
slides and
Yeah, water
stuff.
slides and all that. We were like,
Whoa.
that'd be a cool business, but I didn't like. We looked it up, and I think one of those costed like
$5,000.
A lot of
$5
upfront
grand.
cost, and then
Yeah.
you gotta
A lot
like
of upfront
store
cost.
It was
it.
a
and-
lot of big costs we weren't really ready to make at the first point. I think we thought about junk removal, pretty much stuff that we would all have low barrier to entries, and
Right.
also stuff that like we all kind of wanted to work with our hands a little bit.
some labor
Yeah,
type of thing.
you know, like
yeah.
we briefly discussed online stuff, but we were like, we want to have something we could tangibly touch and go work. You know, I don't want to be
Yeah.
behind a laptop. That's just easy to get behind this. You know, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. Like with us, that's one of the interesting things that is kind of like the distinguishing thing is for us, like, the tangible pieces are it's very few. Most of it's all online stuff.
Yeah.
But businesses like this are going to be, I think the next generation of young entrepreneurs are going to be plumbers, are going to be construction people. Because that's an industry that
There's so much money to be made too
yeah.
that it's just
Exactly.
like you gotta get in it.
Exactly.
And what's great that we found is that in the young entrepreneur space, all the 20-year-olds that want to do something bigger,
Yeah.
they all want to do the online, the drop shipping,
Yeah.
the Instagram marketing, all that stuff like that. No one's out there doing the tangible stuff. That's a little bit harder, maybe a little bit less, you don't see people in Dubai doing it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
there's a lot of room for us to grow and expand there because no one else is doing it.
Yeah, it's not
Exactly.
fancy.
It's not fancy.
Yeah.
But it get like you make them, you
Gets
get the bills
Yeah.
paid, and then you have whatever left, and you're like, dang, now I can go popping on Instagram.
Exactly. What was it like that really made y'all recognize that? Because that's sometimes just a character trait.
Yeah.
But what was the thing
I
that
think-
showed y'all?
I think we all just like starting out, like I said, we wanted to do stuff with our hands and work a little bit harder, like just in the outside space,
Yeah.
And then once we got into it, we kind of realized that like we're the only ones here doing this that are under the age of 55.
Mhm.
You know, like we haven't met a single competition our age in this area.
Really?
You know, and so we've always been like, wow, we kind of really have a little bit of a niche here. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where we're like, why don't we just dig into this further where we have an already competitive advantage, just go harder.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like when we go and talk to customers, they'll be like, honestly, I just bought from y'all because y'all are working at 20 years old. I don't see anyone doing this. So like, we're just
That's
like,
very
okay,
common.
yeah, might as well dig harder into that.
Yeah.
Like they're just wanting to kind of like
Yeah.
see y'all succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the
cool.
older generation, the wealthy, retired, bankers, finance, investors, all that stuff. They're like, the fact that y'all are out here working on a Saturday right now, I don't see anyone doing that your age. So
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all some business. So
Yeah.
and that's just been a huge factor for us too.
I love
That's
that.
fire.
So you said 4 partners originally?
Yes.
Sir.
Who were they and what did they do?
So it was very complicated.
Tell me as much as you feel comfortable.
Yeah, of
If
course.
you don't want to
of
name
course.
names,
I'm
that's
not gonna
fine.
name names, just to keep them out of it. So it was 4 friends. We all kind of were really close freshman year. We lived
That can be tough with
It's
friends.
very.
I'm
hard.
sure
we
you-
live
Very
together.
hard. Sure,
sophomore.
you'll
we have
explain.
Very hard.
we have plenty of stories of hour-long arguments about the
Days.
smallest
Long-
things.
Arguments that went for days.
Mhm.
And we'd come back to the apartment and trying to be friends again after yelling at each other about something stupid for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard. But
Yeah.
it got to the point to where we all saw different visions for where we wanted to take this and what we wanted to do with it. Some of us wanted to see us take a little bit farther, like us. Others didn't want it. They wanted to keep it like a little side hustle, make money, and then kind of close it off immediately.
Yeah.
And so we just had a turning point where we were like, the only way for this to go forward is if we bought out the other 2 partners. And so we ended up doing that in April.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or was it April? It was August. It was August. It was the end of the
Bought them out
summer,
in
not the
August.
beginning, the end of the summer. So we bought them out in August, and so we've been going as a partnership since then for a couple months.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So, what in specific, like, do y'all kind of like distinguish yourselves within this business? Like, what
Yeah.
are your focuses? What are your focuses?
You want to tackle that one?
You said what distinguishes
Yeah,
us?
like your
Yeah.
roles, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
your
yeah,
day to day.
Yeah. So especially during the when we had 4, we had really concrete roles within the business. Now I would say it's more of like we just kind of share the workload.
But you also focus on the operational
Yeah, I'm
side.
more of the
it.
operational
I'm more
side,
the sales side.
Yeah.
Got it.
I typically focus more on the logistics, how jobs are going to get done,
Yeah.
what we need. He tends to focus more on the sales side.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That
And
makes
like
sense.
like he was saying, when we had 4, there was a little bit more specifics to each role.
Right.
But now that we're pretty much restarting the entire business from the ground up, just because our biggest problem is when we had 4 people, we didn't have a big foundation
Yeah.
to build off of. So we're trying to rebuild that. And right now we're kind of sharing a lot of it. But generally, he's operational on the sales.
Got it. That makes sense. And that's one thing, like Sean, you can.
I
You can,
love talking about the foundation.
Yeah.
Because that's like what the biggest thing is. Like, you got to build that strong foundation and make it big to where you can expand and make it like modular almost. But that's super cool. So variety washing, that's the name of it. So y'all do a variety of things, I assume, right?
So we originally started out, we did like 5 services. And we're actually planning to change the name in the next couple months.
Oh, okay.
Just because we've switched over solely to window washing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
just
so-
window washing.
So it doesn't really fit anymore, which is kind of when we're trying to rebuild. Because when we started variety washing, we were like, we're going to do pressure washing, gutter cleaning, sealing, coating, window washing, all this other stuff. So we called it variety washing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then we kind of realized when we took over that we were spending 80% of our time doing windows, and the 20% doing pressure washing was kind of falling behind. It wasn't bringing in as much revenue. The margins were a lot worse. So we're like, why don't we just switch our time 100% to window washing? It also allowed us to be a little bit more streamlined with training. Our biggest problem over the summer, when we had a couple employees, was with our huge variety of services. It'd be hard to get them all accurately trained on 5 of them instead of just having them do one thing efficiently.
Yeah. That makes
So-
sense. I like that. So who else is involved in the business right now?
Right now, we have 1 other employee,
Mhm.
and then that's about it right now.
Yeah,
So
it's just us
Great.
3. We downsized
Great.
pretty significantly.
That's great. And the point that I was about to go to is like with us, Sean and I, we were best friends for years and years before we even thought about doing any business things together. And when we did, there was a lot that we had to learn just about being partners and staying friends.
yeah.
So like, those long conversations that you're saying that went days,
Yeah.
we've had that. And I think the thing that really distinguishes kind of like your ability to work together with a partner is how well do y'all, like, if you focus on the operation, that leaves you to do the sales. So you sign a new contract, and then you figure out, okay, this is the way that we're going to fulfill this. And Sean and I, have sort of that same kind of back and forth where we do different things, but we, in other business endeavors, we've really talked about how, we need to be efficient at our size. And before we scale, like scaling, there's the idea of, okay, the bigger I get, the more people need to be involved. But my mindset, just as kind of a leader in business, is that I want my teams to be Renaissance people, them to be able to go into different structures of situations and be able to operate within that. And y'all are doing a really good job with that. And I like the way that y'all distinguish that. So can I ask, what are, like, with the incubator, getting into that, what was the business at when did y'all already do the downsizing
No.
before then?
So we applied as a 4-person group.
Got it.
And so the way it works is we applied, you said March, I believe. We applied in March, and then we had one
Of this year?
of last year.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, this year.
The
Last
junior-
school year.
Last school year, yeah.
Yeah. And so what we did is we had
Sophomore year.
Yes. We had one meeting before we went off to summer to meet everybody. And the incubator program starts from August until you leave in April.
Right.
So we had one meeting with all 4 of us, and then we ended up buying them out. And we had a meeting with Professor Maisie once we told him, like, hey, they're no longer part of the business. And it was all good.
Yeah.
But we were trying to think, we had 5 employees at the time, not including the 4 owners.
Wow.
So it was
Big team.
it was a bigger team.
Yeah.
It was a much bigger team. But also when we applied, we were also in a very busy season of the springtime coming soon. So we had a lot more equipment, a lot more people. And then now we took this summer, had all the people, and then downsized down to us to kind of rebuild the systems and all that.
Gotcha.
I feel like, just thinking about it, how we were talking earlier, how you were like, oh yeah, you might not see like people out in Dubai doing this. I've actually been seeing a lot of, I don't know if it's like my algorithm or whatever is pushing. I don't know if y'all do like door knocking or door-to-door sales to, get new clients, like if you're in the area or whatever. But I actually see like popping people on there that are like, oh yeah, I'm doing X service. And they like make a video, like a reel of them, door knocking. And then that even just gets them more business right there because, they're like their pitch is insane. You can see how good of a salesman they are, and then it's like it's just cool to see that. Do y'all do anything like that? You know what I'm talking about,
90% of our business is door knocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of it comes from door knocking.
Dang, so you're like a pro.
So we've been doing it for a while. So our first summer, we started out, we did pretty much word of mouth. We tried Facebook ads. They didn't work, so we kind of shut them off. We were new. We were trying to get back into it. Pretty much all word of mouth and referrals. And then we hit a slow point. We kind of ran out of people, ran out of close contacts and referrals. So we're like, we got to find a way to really build this, back up. So we just went online, Googled some stuff, and we're like, might as well door knock. And then within the first day or two, we had 4 sales that we'd never even heard. So we're like, okay, let's keep rolling to this. And then over that, we've really not perfected, nothing's perfect. We've really worked on our sales pitch and really improved on that a lot and our abilities to sell people at the doors. And now we're doing pretty much all door knocking. Wow. So, and that's been really big for us because that's allowed us to, one, have something to do at all times pretty much. Because like if we have a slow week, we know that the hours put in door knocking is what directly correlates what we're bringing in sales wise. So we're like, hey, we've got a slow week, send 4 guys out and we'll just go blast this neighborhood.
What's that conversion rate?
About 1 in 10 people we talk to.
Really? Yeah. That's pretty good. That's 10%. That's really good. I love that.
Yeah. About 1 in 10 people we talk to.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Making the connection. And that's one thing is like we've seen a lot of people online doing stuff like that. And I've met some other people that do similar businesses in other states and like really big cities. Like Birmingham's kind of big, but I'm talking like LA, Nashville, Tallahassee, like Orlando. They've got like a bunch of these companies doing it because they see people online doing it and they go out and try it. In Birmingham, we have not met a single person doing this besides us.
Wow. So do y'all contract people to do, or y'all do it yourselves, like your team? Okay.
Yeah, we do it ourselves. Yeah, everything's in house right now.
That's incredible. Yeah. I love that. So, can I ask, like, what are, like, if somebody were to say, hey, what is your typical contract? Like, how many hours is it of work? What does the like fulfillment piece look like? What if I were to come to you?
Yeah, so typically our average job size is like 250 to 400.
Just a normal size house.
Normal size house.
Okay.
That's anywhere between 25 to 50 windows, somewhere around there. And it takes us about 1.5 to 3 hours, anywhere between there, just depending, the size of that. Yeah. So we just go in there.
You just get the ladders.
That's awesome.
So we actually use a industrial grade window washing system. It's a water purifier.
Like a big pole?
Yes, the big pole systems. Yeah.
Wow.
It takes that garden water and it goes through 3 different filters.
Yeah.
And it comes out cleaner than drinking water.
Wow.
So it doesn't leave any spots or lines or anything that you see on a window. Yeah.
Do y'all tap into theirs or do you have a truck?
We tap into theirs.
Yeah, we tap into theirs.
Okay. Okay. That saves you.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
It does. Now, when we had a pressure washing trailer, that had a water tank on it, but that still hooks up to the homeowner's house.
Oh, okay.
So that's just a buffer tank where, like, if the machine spits out 6 gallons a minute and the house only pushes out 4, we got to have a tank that can do that, separate that. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. So on kind of like the prospecting side, like when you're prospecting like a neighborhood or a different place, like what are some of those things that go through y'all's mind to help make that decision?
Yeah.
Because they're like, I think of Homewood as being a really good example.
What is the word? The ambiance of the neighborhood. They're like, how much money these people got?
Mountain Brook has been insane. Mountain Brook people will
I
spend
bet.
so much money because they never do anything themselves. They'll pay people to do everything. So that's been huge. But the biggest thing we look for, sometimes we'll go on Zillow and look homes minimum $1 million.
Yep.
Find the most concentration.
Great idea.
Neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
One thing that like we always talk about when it comes to door to door is any house that's renovated that has white brick is an easy sell. I don't know why.
Because it's younger people.
It's that young style.
Yeah.
If
They're like,
you
I gotta
see-
have my
If
window.
you see a house that's painted white and it's got like wood trim exterior,
Yeah, like dark, like
Easy
black
sell.
or something.
easy sell.
Yep.
No matter what happens, easy sell. Our customers that buy from us are 26 to about 35, 40. Those are the people, they buy from us the most. They either don't have the time to do it or just don't want to do it. And then it's the elderly past 65 who physically can't do it. Yeah. The range in between that, 55, 60, they can do it, but they're still in the age of like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And
they
it's
don't wanna
really hard to
spend
break
it.
that.
Yeah.
It's happened before, but it's really hard to break that. They're like, I'm gonna do it myself. You know, and you can give them the best deal in the world. It's a principle thing. It's really hard to do that. So it's everyone who either can't have it, can't have time, or
And you
unable
know
to.
they're not doing it themselves.
Exactly.
They're not
exactly.
going to do it. They're going to leave it dirty.
Yeah,
They just don't want to
yeah.
spend the money.
It's really funny because like sometimes I'll be up there and I'll be like, okay, so when was the last time you cleaned your windows? And they're like, oh, 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
You know, or I'll be sitting there staring at the dirtiest window I've ever seen. They're like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm like, I'm offering you something here.
Yeah.
But it's the principle behind it that's really
Yeah.
hard to break.
Do y'all have socials and pages and everything?
We do. We're not as active on it as we probably should be.
Yeah.
We do have it. It's there. It's not as a actively managed account that we want to kind of work on, but it is.
That
there.
could be like a potential new hire, you know, at some point, or like you third party out the service. Like for Dylan, that's kind of like Dylan's business model is like, you know, contracting services like social media services, but because that even like just getting somebody to like record, like you just record him making the sale, like a sale, and that could get 1,000 views, and you could get like 10 customers just from that thing, and it's just cool to show. What somebody I know does pest control, right? So they do door knocking for pest control. I hate door-to-door sales, I'll be honest, because I feel like shy, I guess, more a reserved person. And I feel like you definitely have to be like kind of more outgoing and be like able to get in front of people. And I feel like I could do it. I just guess for the times that I've had the opportunity to do it for your business, if y'all were like, all right, Sean, we're going to all go 50-50 on a business. Let's go knock some doors. I'll go right now because I know it's benefiting me. But let's say like for you, you're paying me $7 an hour. I mean, and that's all on work. That's fine. But I would feel a lot less good about going knocking doors for you for $7 rather than me getting 50% of the company.
Right.
You know, like and I feel like that's when I'll go knock doors, not for pennies by some conglomerate. Or whatever.
So our sales guys get paid off commission only.
Commission.
Good.
So they don't get. We used to do an hourly, but that didn't work out just because it doesn't incentivize people to actually go perform. Because if you're getting paid hourly, they'll go out there and it's like, oh, you don't want it? All right, see you later. Have a good day.
Right.
And then you're paying them money and they're not really converting. So paying off commission has been really huge for us. It really incentivizes people to actually go out there and try their hardest and go out for longer because they know if the more they sell, the more they make. So, you know, there's not a cap on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways that y'all are prospecting to really grow the business?
Yeah. So one thing we're trying to expand into is commercial.
That's what I was going to ask. If
Yeah. So our next step would be commercial, and then we're trying to get more like service contracts with people to do 2 or 3 times a year instead of us just reaching out every year and getting a maybe, you know.
Right.
So we're trying to really grow into that.
You know, what would be a really, really good place for y'all to reach out to is Bromberg's.
Yeah.
Those big, like completely glass walls that they have.
Yeah.
That would be like a pretty easy, you know.
y'all see those out there, you're like, oh, I want to clean them. I want that contract.
Yeah. We'll be driving get food sometimes. We'll see a big old office and we're like, they're really nice to clean.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Really nice to clean.
So
yeah.
what would it be like out on like a big, you know, commercial building? Like
Well,
big,
you know, we've never done anything like that, so I wouldn't actually know the super fine details, but I do know it's very common to do. They either have like the drop
thing?
down
Yeah.
buckets that you would do a squeegee with, and I've
Yeah.
also seen buildings that are like 4 stories and below. They either use our system
Like
or
scissor
they'll use
lift?
like a scissor lift. Yeah, so something like that. It'd be a lot more like technical than what we do right now. And a lot more. We need a lot more insurance.
A lot more
A lot more insurance.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know, it's a lot more in depth than what we do. So that's the next step eventually.
What do, like you brought up insurance, but what do those liabilities look like for a business like this?
Yeah. So our biggest liability, our 2 biggest are ladders, because occasionally we'll use a ladder, and that's a big one. And then also just damaging of a window. Even though our system is not like pressurized or powerful whatsoever, it's still possible that if an employee trips and he smacks that pole into a glass, it shatters it, you know, or removing like a screen breaks, stuff like that. It's nothing major. The injury on the ladder is kind of bigger for the property side, but it's about the biggest liabilities we have.
I assume you probably have all those things in the contract.
Yeah.
Like to cover your bases.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Do y'all have also a lawyer working with you? Like, I
don't.
know the incubator, there's a number of things that you can get plugged into.
Yes.
I don't know about,
I
like,
don't think a lawyer is one of them.
yeah.
We don't have one on our side right now, but we do have contacts of local lawyers that have offered services to us because we've watched their windows before.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we live in the town with Alexander Shinar.
Yeah.
This is true. You don't
Can't
have
see
to
him
look far for
outside.
insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah.
So, so going back to your perspective about growing, reiterate that one more time.
Yeah. So pretty much we want to first like solidify our service plans in the residential space,
Yeah.
move into commercial,
Got
and
it.
then final step would be duplicate that in a franchise.
Gotcha.
Franchise it.
Yeah,
Okay.
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 How does that work? Like franchising that company?
Yeah, so franchising like that, we haven't done a lot of in-depth into it, but franchising would pretty much be we would set up a truck or a trailer,
Yeah.
sell that to the franchisee, and then they would have the rights to the business, our sales script, the equipment we have, and all that stuff, and we would assign them a territory, which would be probably 50-mile radius around their home base.
Gotcha.
So that's what they wouldn't have a physical location, but they would have a territory with a truck in our name, and all
Yeah.
of our sales scripts and all of our online stuff.
Gotcha.
Our idea is we're trying to prospect people like us.
Right.
It's way more relatable if we can go and be like, hey, college students, go to college towns, where we can go and find that entrepreneurial minded person.
Right.
It'll be a lot easier to sell them on that.
Oh, yeah.
What would my costs be approximately, you think,
Yeah.
to get in as a franchisee?
Yeah, of course. So we're looking right now at sub $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
incredible.
we're trying to get a really, like he was saying, we're trying to get as low as possible to really invite people our age, 20-year-olds that have an entrepreneurial mindset but don't know how to start it, and maybe they're busy with college life and they want to do something on the side, but they don't know how to do it or how to get jobs. Because one thing we've noticed is we've all had friends that have done like side jobs, you know,
Right.
and the one thing they always struggle with is where can I get recurring jobs from? And I feel like we've really cracked the code on that and being able to get jobs consistently year round
Yeah.
in almost any climate. So that's what we're trying to
Interesting.
sell to other people.
Can I ask about that? Like
Yeah.
the seasonality of the business?
Of course. Yeah. So right now, window washing is pretty much a 2-season business.
Right.
So you do it in the fall and the spring. Summer is popular too, but fall and the spring are huge because leaves, pollen,
Yeah.
dirt, all that stuff. Winter is the slow season.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 months, no one's really washing windows, but we'll switch over to other services, or we'll just either have a slow period, live off the capital we collected,
Yeah.
and work on the actual foundation of it.
Gotcha. Interesting. What are some of those foundational things that you're working on?
Yeah, right now it's franchising.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
our first step
Awesome.
is building out the physical trailer or truck that we would sell to other people. 'Cause we want to build, because right now we've got the kit and all that, but we just put that in our truck beds and drive to a job.
Yeah.
We want to build like the ultimate system that has everything you need, all super
inclusive.
readily available, easy to use, easy to understand, ready to go, sell that to someone else.
Right. I love that.
So that's
I can
kinda what
already
we're doing.
picture like the vision, like where
Yeah.
you have, a warehouse or something
Yeah.
in different cities
Yeah.
and 10 or 15 people that are franchisees
Yeah.
that have your trucks, they have a place to store it, they have, access to go and take it and then make their own sales. What would that look like? Like
Would y'all-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, would y'all would do like marketing for them as the
We would.
headquarters,
Yeah.
or
So-
they wouldn't have to go and get clients?
Yeah.
So before we would go into the franchising, we want to build an online presence a little bit more
Right.
stable to get them leads coming in.
Yeah.
But one thing we would be selling is the door-to-door side. Is they would get our sales scripts and then training from us
Oh,
and
right.
from people that
Okay.
have done it with us before, and that's really the biggest factor is in getting the jobs consistent.
So they would still have to spend a couple days going out in their area.
But one thing that we've noticed is that with the business model that we have, where one person will go sell, one will go do it, it's really low time commitment. Like we like it. You can do more, but it really depends on how much you're willing to work.
Right.
And so we're able to, after class, go do 2 or 3 jobs. Before lunch, go do 2 or 3 jobs,
That's
and
great.
make a good amount of money
Yeah.
just on the side. And you can take that full time, like what we've done, or you could keep it. Like after class, I'll do a job or two. And that's what's really been nice.
You said your average job's like 250, 400? Damn. When so you said you can do, what is your average amount of jobs a day if you're working?
During
2,
class,
3
like,
jobs?
yeah, we'll do probably averages 2. I'd say.
2 averages 2. Our
Yeah.
most we've ever done is 9.
In one day.
Wow.
One day.
And y'all,
That's
what's your
incredible.
weekly average, you think?
So it really depends because right now with classes, it's
Yeah, you're
less.
slowing
Our weekly
down.
hour we're doing about 10 to 15. And then over the summer we were doing
25, 30.
yeah. I was
Wow.
gonna say some weeks we did
That's
40.
incredible.
Damn, dude.
So and that's when we had no class, no commitments. We're just sitting there working, sun up, sun down.
Yeah.
But now it's a little bit less because we have other stuff we got to do. But
Yeah.
most we've done is probably 40.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. So let me ask, what are some of the things that surprised y'all with this model, with this business? What are some of those things that you've had to learn through this journey?
I would say so. How willing some people are to buy at the door. I've always kind of known the connotation of door-to-door sales. Everybody just yells at you, says no.
Right.
says
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some great people out there.
Yeah.
There's some really
Mhm.
good people, and we've had some of the best customer experiences we've had with people at the door. One of the people that me and you did,
Yeah.
they took us out to Panera Bread after we watched it.
That's
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
awesome. It was the
It was
sweetest
a sweet old couple.
Wow.
Yeah.
They told us
Wow.
a whole lot of stories.
Yeah. They gave us
Really
their
cool.
life story. We talked to them about a lot of things.
That's
It
cool.
was really cool.
Great
Awesome.
experience.
I love that.
Yeah. We've
Yeah.
met a lot of really cool people doing it. We've met former Sanford professors. We've
Mhm.
met the former head of accounting. I met the CEO of Dippin' Dots.
Oh, cool.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
That's
former
incredible.
CEO of Dippin'
Dude,
Dots.
I actually do I've know that dude for some reason.
Yeah.
I've seen him online or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hella rich, isn't he?
He was former CEO of Dippin' Dots, and he was chairman of Tzatziki's at one point.
Oh wow. Tzatziki's is big.
It is.
Probably
Yeah.
probably has a big house.
Y'all need to go watch this house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was very interested in that. So
I
that's
love
good.
that.
But yeah, I would say I agree with Grayson a lot. Is the surprising people, but also like he was saying, kind of building off that, the willingness people are to just pay. Like he was saying, I never would have thought within 2 minutes of meeting somebody they'd give me $600 to go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll meet these families. Like, this isn't a one-off thing. Like, this happened multiple times in different neighborhoods. They'll be like, "Oh, you're washing windows? How much? 600? Okay,
Yep.
there you go."
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
like, I
great.
just met you 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really crazy.
All right.
There's sometimes where we have to fight tooth and nail to close, and
Oh,
then there's
gosh.
sometimes we're like, oh yeah, whatever you're about to say, yes.
Yeah.
We need it, yes.
What do you
Yeah.
think the ratio is to easy to hard sales? You
That's
know,
a good one.
Yeah.
I would honestly say 50-50, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I would say
I'd say-
60-40.
I'd say we have a lot of moderate sales.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a ton that we are really, really fighting for, and then there's not a lot that we really
Yeah.
are.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. I would say most was moderate. Like, yeah, I'm interested. Give me a quote. We'll go do the whole pitch, and then we'll go
Yeah.
through it. And they're like, let me think about it. And then I go into a little bit more objection handling, and okay, yeah, sign me up for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying, I would say it's probably 15 to 15 on both ends.
Yeah.
15% of
That
the time
makes
it's really
sense.
hard. Some 50% of the time it's really easy.
Yeah.
Everything else in between is, okay.
Yeah. That makes
in
sense.
y'all's script, is it like a 2 no's, 3 no type thing? Like,
Pretty much we'll go to 3 no's.
Okay.
About everything
Okay.
past 3 no's, unless you can gauge it sometimes
Yeah.
with people. If
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
You can really gauge, but traditionally our script is 3 no's, and they'll go through all that.
I think the gauging for me, I feel like I will press you, but I
Yeah.
can kind of get the vibe on where this is going to go. And that's why I don't like the working for all these super set corporate, already structured out, playbooks of how to do it, because they want you to press them till the end. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just not that person to press
Yeah.
you that hard,
Yeah.
you know?
And one thing that we've done is we've actually kind of we started out and we were like, we got to go until we're shoved off the door, and then we kind of changed that a little bit and we started taking the pressure off, and we wanted to give them more of a comfortable conversation.
Yeah,
feel.
yeah.
We've actually gotten sales through they're like, oh, you're actually not going to pressure me a lot. I'm like, I'm more interested
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so
That
it's
makes sense.
sometimes we'll even in our training process for a salesman, we'll tell them if you can tell that there actually is something going on, it's not a fake smoke screen, just let them go. It's not worth the time.
Let's say.
We'll have times where you'll knock on the door and it'll be 3 crying kids in the background, the
yeah.
dog's barking, and they're like, no, I'm not interested. You're like, have a good day.
Yeah.
I understand. Have a good day.
Yeah.
And that's really helped with the reputation we build in neighborhoods, where it's not we don't get posted on Facebook being these guys
On
are,
next door.
oh yeah,
Right.
those are
They're
the
going
scary
hard.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've met people that have had problems with that, where they push really hard and they'll get posted, and then no one opens the door to them. And us building that relationship has been huge. So we we want to make sure that we understand that like people are also, they have their own issues going on. We don't want to actually pressure them too much. We do want to, we're not going to say to leave on the first no unless it's a very clear something else is going on.
Yeah.
But we want to have a good balance.
That makes sense. Let's take a quick break to make sure these are all good. Right. And this is going to be the biggest young entrepreneur place where young professionals come together to have fun and also grow personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And that's why I love like the mission, you know, because that's our mission, like, you know, support and enable communities of young entrepreneurs and young professionals in North Alabama. Like that's the mission statement across all of my businesses. Tribute Case is a little bit different, but but I love that. And so, you know, I do think we probably should wrap up in a few minutes. But tell me about, so the vision from what I understand right now is you said you really want to develop, build out your client list for residential. You want to break into commercial and then break into the franchising. What are some of those immediate things that y'all are doing like right now? Like what are your next 5 moves in order to make all of this a reality, bring that vision to?
So right now is we have our long client list of residential houses that we've done and people here. And so we're building out the service plan, which we've built out and sending that to everybody and trying to get people to sign up for it. And then our next step is when winter comes is build out the physical trailer of the eventual franchising. And we've actually met a couple of people that have residential or commercial properties that we're going to go out and do and give some quotes to and give some service plans to them.
Foot in the door.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of the plan right now.
Gotcha.
Cool.
I love it. And also build out the social media stuff too.
Yes.
The online presence.
One thing I like to ask. Sorry, were you gonna say
No.
anything else? Okay. One thing I like to ask is like take a minute and like what advice would y'all want to give young entrepreneurs or anybody? Like we're on Instagram right now, we're on YouTube right now. What do you want to say to somebody watching?
I'll let you go, then I'll say something.
Yeah, both of y'all say something.
I just it's something my dad always says, just keep chopping wood, keep grinding, keep taking that next step, keep taking that next step. It always will pay off. Whether you see it right now or not, it will always come back to you, and you will always learn something from the actions that you take.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I was gonna say something kind of similar. Actually, I was gonna say just keep on grinding. You know, you got to keep doing something. You know, never stop.
Yeah.
You know, there's always something to be done, and if you can do it, go do it.
Yeah.
And it'll, like you said, pay off in the long run. You know, just
Love
make
it.
sure that failing is only stopping. You know, it's not. It's if you keep trying, you're not failing.
Yeah. I love it. This has been a really good conversation. I can already see the vision of where this is going. Y'all are doing awesome things. Keep going.
Yeah.
And keep grinding.
Keep grinding, chopping the wood.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking to us
pleasure.
about this. We would love to have you guys back on in a future season.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so your website is it varietywashing.com?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you're in the Birmingham
Wow.
area,
Yeah.
Yep.
maybe we'll get
Check
a little
'em out.
discount. What's next code or
Yeah,
something?
exactly.
Y'all hit them up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have everything linked below. But again, thank you guys very much for coming on. We
Thanks for
really
having us.
appreciate this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks,
Peace.
y'all.